Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Indiana Basketball Weekly. If you're hearing a little different voice starting the show off, Mike Goodpaster, our esteemed moderator, is in Dolly World, or Dollywood, whatever you call it down there. He's down there with his two sons who are participating in a high school All-American football game, enjoying life, and working 9 to 5, I guess. Wouldn't that be it, Collin?
Yeah, the 9 to 5.
I don't even know that many Dolly Parton songs, but I'm sure he's having breakfast with Dolly Parton right now and not missing us at all. But introduce real quick, our other co-host here, Collin Hartman, member of the basketball team for the last 20 years. Collin, were you part of the IU basketball program?
Yeah, give or take.
The red shirt program.
I took a few victory laps. I've bridged the gap between your era and mine.
Yeah, he did. He did fine. And that's good. Fortunately, they kicked my butt out after 4 years and said, that's enough. We don't care. You're not redshirting. I tried to hurt myself so I could get another year at college. So I couldn't do it. They said, no way. Get out of here. We're done. Okay, we go to 3-0 in the Big Ten yesterday. I thought, Collin, maybe one of the best games we played all year. Once we got started, but talk to us. Let's just address the start of Indiana University basketball teams, how they start games. Address it. What do you think?
I think that we've talked about this a couple of times, but I think that we start off kind of slow. I think it's just kind of what this team does, and it's frustrating, but at the end of the day, we find out how to win games, and that's really what it comes down to. Is having a team that's resilient. That's one thing that we've talked about as well, is just having a resilient team. But Steve, you and I were talking about this. I think we were talking about this a couple of days ago or yesterday about if you start out slow against, say Michigan. On the 6th at Michigan or on the road in a Big Ten game, and you dig yourself such a deep hole that you can't get out of it, that's going to be a problem. I would just like to see this team start a little faster, but at the end of the day, we can't really complain a whole lot because we're still winning games, which is a plus.
Yeah, I mean, you've been in the locker room and you've been in the huddle with Archie Miller. Is this driving him crazy? Or is he okay with it? This is kind of his culture. Or is he just going bananas over this?
Yeah, he's losing his mind. You can tell, watch it, especially at the beginning when we call timeouts or dead balls and 2 timeouts, stuff like that. Watch him walking toward into the court so they get the chair set up and all the guys, and just watch his face. He's not pleased. He's not happy with it. He's one of the most competitive guys I've been around. And trust me, at no point in the game is he okay with being down. And I could see that last night specifically, especially early in the game. We weren't playing well, obviously, and I think it was the first TV timeout, something like that. They zoomed in on his face. And he was not a happy camper. So I know that he's not okay with it and not condoning it. And it's kind of a weird dynamic as a coach. Steve, how would you react and talk to the team if you're starting out slow but still winning games?
Yeah, that's a really good question. But I go back to I wonder how much of this, Collin, is a product of playing what I would call a kind of sheepish pregame schedule. And are we getting ourselves into a false sense of security here that we can continue to overcome this? Because Illinois is not considered one of the better teams. They're in the bottom tier of the Big Ten. I don't think they have anywhere near a winning record. I don't believe. We've played really – Marquette and Duke are probably the 2 best teams we played. We lost to Arkansas, but that's a game first row game we should have won. Are we getting in a false sense of security that we can continue to rebound on this? So let me ask that question first, and then I'll tell you what I would do if I was coaching this basketball team and to change that right now. So are we getting a false sense of security? We're going to Michigan. We're going to Ann Arbor Sunday. I mean, they're number 2 ranked team in the country. Can we get 10 points down on Michigan at Ann Arbor? Hell, I never wanted to, and I had Isaiah Thomas in my camp.
Yeah, I mean, I had Yogi Ferrell. I never wanted to. I mean, that's not possible. We will not win that game. We will get blown out by 20 or 30 if we get down by 10 at the start. Because when that place gets rocking, it gets rocking. And they're a good team the way it is. Obviously, number 2 in the country. So you let a team with that talent get that crowd going, we'll have no shot. So, I mean, in my opinion, there is no way that we can start the way that we've been starting in a lot of these games and have that slow start because we'll get blown out of the water. And I don't want to see that by any stretch of imagination. So,
Is it my opinion that this is kind of like a James Bond kind of basketball team? When I say James Bond, I'm just like suave and cool. I mean, they don't rattle. This team does not rattle. I mean, you're right. Up until this point, they've won, but they're kind of like, do we need somebody to start the game that's just wants to go out and scream and yell and holler and fire up? I mean, should Roberts be starting or somebody who's got some attitude? I just feel like this team doesn't have any attitude. They just have suave. They're just cool. It's a cool basketball team, but they don't have the attitude that you need to get the game started right off the bat.
Right, and I think that a lot of these guys know a lot of the personalities. A lot of these guys are kind of cool, calm, and collected, whatever you want to say it. And they just, I mean, unless something big happens, they're pretty much, easy going. None of the guys, especially the leaders, are big, rah guys.
There just isn't one on the team, is there?
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason why we have these slow starts, because guys are still working into the game rather than hitting the ground running. Just because you don't have the big rah leaders. You can have guys who are walk-ons or guys who don't get a lot of minutes be the rah guys, but at the end of the day, those guys aren't stepping onto the court. So it's a weird dynamic right now, and I don't think, quite candidly, a big rah guy is A, going to happen, or B, even needed.
Okay, fair.
I think it's a mindset thing for these guys to just not, going back to what I said earlier, not playing down to the competition or playing up to the competition. Just because I think that we find ourselves doing that more than we'd like.
I mean, I just, I was talking to my wife and I were watching the game last night, and I was explaining to her about the slow start and everything going on like that. And I said, this is the point in time, about 3 minutes into the game, where 4 and Knight would call me and say, Risley, get in and just go punch somebody out. just go attack somebody or go be physical and get everybody else fired up, get the opponents fired up, get our intensity level back up. And, I don't want to say I was a goon, but my role in the basketball team when I was there was as a physical player. So he'd say, just go in there and just, mix it up and get somebody going. This team doesn't mix it up well, but I tell you what, in my opinion, in the last long period of time, and I don't want to date anybody or name any coaches, but this is one of the most confident IU basketball teams I've seen in a very long time.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think that's part of I think that's part of the way they carry themselves, is because they are so confident that they don't get too high or too low. They don't get super flustered when the other team makes a run. As you know this, Steve, basketball's a game of runs, guys. Teams are going to make a few shots in a row. And I think that I would rather, and that's what I'm saying, I don't think a rah-rah is needed, because you kind of just reiterated it. And I don't think that we need a rah-rah guy, because then that opens up the opportunity for too high and too low.
That's a good point. I get it, but I guess we'll get a flavor of if that culture is going to play out Sunday, because, like I said, if we start out against Michigan, if Michigan is as good as they think they're right now, I still owe the velocity or the mentality of the fact that I don't have a lot of faith in any of the rankings right now, because many of these teams that are ranked have really had cupcake schedules, preseason schedules. I mean, they play the big made-for-TV games. I get that. But really, they're waltzing all over lesser-ranked quality teams, so you don't really know how good Michigan is. I mean, we don't know. But I don't really know if I want to test it at Ann Arbor.
No.
Because if you looked at our schedule is front-loaded. I mean, we've got a brutal first half of our schedule. Right. And we're sitting at 3-0 right now. We could be 3-3 in about a week, right?
Yeah. Especially if we have a start. I mean, if you watch the Michigan game the other night or last night, they started out slow too. They had Penn State at home. They started out slow too, and I was listening to.
Yeah, it was a close game for a while.
Their freshman Ignis. I was listening to his post-game press conference, and he was just. It was weird. He said the reporter asked him if it was a surprise that they started slow. And he's like, it's not really a surprise. And I was like, but what does that say about the program? So, I mean, obviously they're a great team, but if a guy's admitting that they kind of aren't surprised that they started slow, what does that say about the kind of guys that you have? They have great players and they have great flow and a great style of play and a great coach. But that just kind of struck me, and that was one of the things that stuck with me is like they started slow just like we did, and they ended up winning the game kind of like we did. So because Penn State came back at the end and cut it to 8, and so it's kind of the same situation. They kind of
Illinois cut it down to 6 or 4 on us, didn't they? Didn't we have it down to didn't they have 4 points late in the game, like 3 minutes ago or something?
Exactly.
Wasn't that right around there? So, and again, this team has such resiliency. They didn't rattle. They made their run, but Indiana did not rattle, and I love that about this basketball team. I think that's an Archie Miller product right there. This team does not rattle. So that's great. We'll find out. We'll find out a lot Sunday. I mean, we'll finally get a test of a quality basketball program on the road against our culture and see how well we stack up. I think Indiana is an underrated basketball team. I think they're good. And what impressed me the most about last night, I'll let you talk to this too, I thought it was the best defensive game we've played all year. What do you think?
6 shot clock violations. That's
6 shot clock violations. That's good.
Yeah. That's really good. I think there's obviously some areas that we're going to shore up. You keep harping on it. Is the post defense. I don't think
it got better. It looked better last night.
I think we are getting better. I know that they're working on it day in and day out. And I just think one more thing is the turnovers. Careless turnovers sometimes, and it drives me nuts. There are turnovers, obviously, where they're trying to make a play, and, we'll accept those turnovers because sometimes the plays go through and then guys got to make the mistakes. But some of them are just kind of careless. And I think that I will stand by it as the season goes on, that if we can have 12 or less turnovers, we will be in every single game that we play in, just because the team can score the ball, the team is resilient, and we'll always put ourselves in a situation to win the game if we have under 12 turnovers or 12 or less.
And I'm not a big fan of reviewing stats. I mean, I know we do that, but we forced 21 turnovers on Illinois last night, and we had they had 21 turnovers and we had 13 steals. So when you look at that ratio, and we had 15 turnovers, so we're in that range of plus or minus, 1, 2, or 3, where you think 12 is the number you want to be at. We're still in that range. I know Devontae, but I still think Devontae was making mistakes trying to get things done. I mean, I don't think he was making mistakes, making dumb plays. I don't even know how many turnovers did Devontae have on his own. Turnover 4. So he had 4 turnovers. He led the team in turnovers, but he's handling the ball more than anybody right now. So I expect that. But I think the fact that we forced them to make 21 turnovers, and we had 13 steals, says really a big improvement on our defense. I still think this team needs to get better at blocking out. I still think we don't go hunt and peck and find guys to block out. I'd like to see us do better than that. And our help side defense still is not where it needs to be. but it's improving every game, and I think that's where you want to be right now as you head into conference play, because right now everything's leading, as you know as well as anybody, it's all leading up to March right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. One of the alongside of the stats, just looking at some things, they out-rebounded us by 1, but they out-rebounded us, we gave up 13 offensive rebounds, which against Illinois you can get away with.
I know, yeah.
But rebounds.
That was an athletic basketball team too. That was a very athletic basketball team. Yeah.
Very true. We shot 71, almost 72% from the line. One of the best things that kind of attributed to our good defense tonight is that Illinois only shot 12 free throws. So we were defending without fouling, which kept guys on the floor. I know Al was in foul trouble there a little bit. But when you don't put guys at the line and you play straight up verticality or situation basketball, that takes that takes 3 points off the board for Illinois. I think we did a good job of that. I think that's a very big stat if you can play defense without fouling, because Michigan and Wisconsin, traditionally during the time I was playing, that was one thing that they were very, very, very good at was, and even Michigan State was playing defense without fouling, making you take tough shots without fouling you. And that's why those 3 programs have been so good as of late.
Well, and again, staying on the stat sheet just a little bit longer here. I mean, here's a couple of things to point out to me. A, you're right. We finally broke the 70% mark in free throws, which is just the first time we've done that this year. I don't even know. I mean, it's got to be close. But what's more amazing is this is what I like about our offense. We got to the free throw line 35 times.
Yeah, we attacked the rim.
We took 30. Yeah, and because we're attacking, and I think that's what's great about how our perimeter guard play is so strong, and why I think we're going to be pretty good in the Big Ten, because I don't think anybody can guard. When we get Finney back, it just adds another weapon. But okay, talk about this: 3-point shots, 2 for 12. Now I see this as good and bad. 16% from the 3-point line, 2 for 12. What are your thoughts of that?
You're talking about
okay, I'll just set you up here a little bit more. To me, I think it's good because we don't need to take 3-point shots. It means if we're getting to the free throw line 35 times, and we're hitting, in the ball game, we're hitting 47.9% of our 2-pointers, field goal percentage, 50% of our shots. I think it says our offense is working well, because I think people that take a lot of 3-point shots, that's what they rely on to score on. And I think anytime you rely on a 3-point shot, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and I think that if this team relied on 3-point shot, we would lose a whole lot of games.
Right.
And completely backing up what you said, I'd rather have a crap ton of free throw attempts than 3-point attempts, because you're getting the team in foul trouble. There's a lot of implications that go along with that. You're putting guys on the bench and taking key players out of the game, and giving your guys a break and a rest and a breather, and getting pretty wide open free throws. And there's a lot of things that go into getting free throw attempts rather than just getting free points. There's a lot of other implications and strategy that goes into that, bonuses and double bonus and stuff of that nature. So I think that, especially with this team and the way that we can get to the rim and finish, I'd much rather them have 35 attempted free throws than shooting threes.
Most of it, because when you taking 35 free throws, that means you're also putting opponents into foul trouble.
Yeah.
If you're getting to the line that much, there's got to be a reason that you're on the foul line. That's somebody's fouling you, so you're getting their opponents into foul trouble. And I think they got into some foul trouble toward the end of the game, which, when they pushed the game up to 4 points or 6 points and late, they had to start worrying about not letting kids foul out of things of that nature. Another glaring thing to me, Collin, and address this, minutes played. I'm looking right now. We got 5 guys. The starters played 33, 23, 36, 36, 32. McRoberts plays 23, and they only have 3 other guys that play less than about 13 minutes combined for Anderson, Fitzner, and Deron Davis. Is that by design, or because we thought this team has some depth that they could go to, but right now I'm seeing basically 6 guys played this game.
Yeah, well, you have to factor in Rob. Rob's going to play. Typically, Rob would play. So that would put another guy in that rotation. But, I'm telling you, and I was telling you guys all along from the beginning, Coach Miller wants to keep it a tight ship. He knows he's going to figure out who he wants to play and who's going to produce.
Well, he's doing it.
I know. I told you guys he's going to stop experimenting.
Yeah, you were right.
He's going to stop playing games, and because he knows he doesn't want to go 9. He don't want to. He'll stay 8-9 at most. And just because there's injuries doesn't mean that he's going to start throwing any guy out there. This is not surprising. Just because I know the way Coach Miller's style is and the way his mind works, and I agree with it. You got to stick with your guys and get some flow. You'll get a couple guys in there to get breathers, depending on situations or foul trouble or the pace of the game, anything like that. I think it's going to be a huge thing for this team when he settles in and guys earn their spots and we roll with our 8-9 guys that we have.
Yeah, I think the key here, I still haven't seen it develop. Deron Davis, is he still hurt, or 5 minutes? This is a big beast inside that is an athletic kid that can help the post defense shore up a lot and take up a lot of space in there and stop a lot of penetration. Is he still hurt, or is he just not filling in to where he needs to be to get more minutes? You don't know. I know you're not in the locker room any more than I am.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. But your thought process on it, what do you think?
Quite candidly, I think that Coach Miller's playing him sparingly. In my opinion, it might be for the style of play Coach Miller's going for. Get up and down, get moving a little bit more, get more flow, get more versatility. You play Juwan at the 5, he steps out, he's shooting like 45% from the 3-point line right now. It adds a whole other dynamic to your team. And if you play Deron sparingly and situationally, I guarantee there's going to be games coming up where there's going to be foul trouble or there's going to be a big guy inside that Coach will play Deron more. Because, like I said, I think Coach has found his 8 with Rob in there, and I think that he's going to run with who he thinks is going to produce. And if he doesn't think that, he's not going to play Deron just because of his size. I'll tell you that right now. He's going to play Deron because he plays well. He's going to play the best 5 that he thinks in that situation.
Very fair. Once again, Juwan Morgan, 9 field goal attempts. Do we need to be getting more field goal attempts for this kid? He's one of our 2 best players. He's only taken 9 field goal attempts. Are we happy with that, or do we want to force the issue with him to make him be a little more dramatic offensively and maybe starting the game off like, I don't know. What do you do? I know in football, and I'll use this analogy. In football, a lot of coaches will say, I'm going to run these first 10 plays no matter what the outcome of the game is. I've got a set 10 plays we're going to run. I don't care what happens. Should we be looking to him earlier in the game to get us started faster and get us into the game more and maybe try and get him 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 field goal attempts in the first 5 minutes of a ball game? Would that make sense, or are you okay with him taking 9 field goal attempts? And he took three 3-point attempts too. And he got to the line 8 times, so he's going the whole hard, but only 9 attempts kind of concerns me a little bit.
I agree, especially in last night's game. Rogan stepped up huge at 28. I think, especially at the beginning, when you have that slow start, you got to go right to Juwan, in my opinion, get him to the post, and get him acclimated, get his feet wet, and get him running. Because then you get him in the short the short corner or in the pinch post or in the post in general, then guys, he's going to be able to have room to pass the ball, be unselfish, or draw a foul and get a bucket, or just be aggressive and just kind of flip his switch right away to get into.
Yeah.
I'm going to get 30 tonight.
I mean, and that might be the key to getting a better start in the games. It would be to somehow talk to him and get him more involved faster, because he blends into the game very well. And I mean, he ends up being, he's 15 points, 10 rebounds. I mean, but it's just like you get somebody like him. It's like you can just come in and get us a couple of hard charges to the hole quick. Get somebody on the foul line, maybe put a player in foul trouble early. Maybe that stops this bleed we have in the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game where we end up getting 10 points down on an Illinois team that we prove we're much better than. And I don't know. I don't, just a question. I mean, you don't know the answer any more than I do, I don't think. But I'm sure, again, this is probably one of these things that Archie Miller's scratching his head on a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
But he's got to be happy. Anything else on stats we need to cover?
No, I think it's good.
No, I think, looking at it, I don't see anything glaringly bad or anything like that. I mean, it's pretty – I like the free throw percentage. We're finally over 70%. We held them to, 50. They only shot 58% free throws. Their field goal percentage was 43%. So I think it was one of the stronger defensive efforts we've made. The only thing that concerns me really about the stats really is, and we talked about this, was 5 guys getting that many minutes, and McRoberts being the only one getting double-digit minutes on top of that. It's a 20-game schedule. You know how grueling the Big Ten is. You're playing 10 of these games on the road now, and you're going to want to be able to rest players. You're going to have to rest players. You can't survive the 20-game Big Ten schedule and go into the Big Ten tournament and then, hope to get in the dance with your 5 starters playing over 30 minutes each, and only one sub playing 23 minutes. I think that's something that hopefully the coaching staff will address, and I'm sure Finney will take care of that when he comes back too.
Right.
So there's no doubt about that. All right, looking at the schedule ahead, talk about it. It's going to get brutal real quick here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 3-0, which we're 3-0 in the conference. Which is anybody else? Michigan's 3-0. Is anybody else 3-0 in the conference right now?
Is Michigan State 3-0?
Pardon?
Is Michigan State 3-0?
Is Michigan State 3-0? So is it us, Michigan State, and Michigan? They're 3-0 right now. Is that it? I have not looked at it. I should pull it up and look at it. But
what about Wisconsin?
Yeah, I don't know. But we're looking right now at going to Michigan, going to Maryland, and then playing a very dangerous Nebraska team, and then at Purdue. So we could be 3-4 real fast. I mean, those are not easy. That's the front loadedness of our schedule. What do you think about our schedule here? What do we need to do to see if we can get through? What's a good number for us to try and hope we can win of these next 4 games? Because playing at Purdue is not easy. I know in my 4 years, I never won at Mackey, and Purdue never won at Assembly Hall. Even when we had Isaiah and stuff like that, we never won at Mackey, and they never won at Assembly Hall. That's
not an easy place to win. No.
Not easy to do. Yeah. Michigan's going to be brutal. Maryland's a good basketball club.
We got to beat Maryland.
Got to beat Maryland.
Got to beat Maryland. We got to hold home at with Nebraska coming here. Purdue's a tough one. So I think we would be. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, would we be happy going 2-2 in the next 4 games? Should we be happy with that, or should we? Would that be a disappointment to us? 3 of those games are on the road.
Yeah, I mean, if we could pick up at least one road win, which I think we should pick one up at Maryland. I think there's no reason we shouldn't.
Okay, all right.
I think we should.
Purdue's struggling right now.
Yeah, I think I would be happy if we went 3-4. whether that comes at Michigan. A little bit optimistic. I love it.
Oh, yeah, wouldn't we all?
Or I think we should pick one up at Purdue.
I don't think winning at Michigan is impossible. I think we just don't know yet because we just haven't seen either Indiana or Michigan play each other yet. I mean, we haven't seen them play quality teams, a lot of quality teams. We've seen the one or two games they played, but like I said, I think Indiana's underrated. Then we come home and we got after at Purdue, we go at Northwestern. Then we play Michigan again. So we've got Michigan twice in the next 6 games. We've got to play them twice in the next 6 games. So
we're going to get one of them.
Yeah, we're going to get one of them. I agree. Yeah,
we'll get one of those.
And then from there on, then we've got to face Michigan State twice, and really that's about it in terms of. So the good news is the back half of our schedule is kind of in our favor. We don't have to go to Wisconsin. We don't have to go to Nebraska, which are 2 pretty tough road games.
Nebraska is a very hard place to win at. For you people that are listening,
I've never played there. Yeah,
it is a hard place to win at because, quite candidly, Nebraska football is their staple. And Nebraska football is not doing very well right now, but they have no NBA teams, no professional teams, so they ingrain into their college sports. And with Nebraska football not being good and Nebraska basketball being good, the fan base out there has really embraced the basketball team. They have a really nice arena out there, and it is a hard place to win. I mean, it's always cool because I'm from Nebraska. I have family out there, so when I played out there, all the guys gave me their tickets, and I had like 20 or 30 people there. So that was cool, but it is a hard place to win. And the fact that we don't play there this season is in our favor.
Sure.
Really.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and you're from Nebraska, and I'll remind everybody again that Juwan Morgan and I were both born in Waynesville, Missouri.
No comparison.
Anybody in hell knows where Waynesville, Missouri is, let me know, because I was born there. I was an Army brat, and I think I was born at Fort Leonard Wood Hospital and then shipped over to Germany with my father and mother for a stint for a while before I came back to the United States. But I can say Juwan and I were both born in Waynesville, Missouri. I don't know if he was born at Fort Leonard Wood or not, but we were both born. And they need to put a sign up, home of 2 Indiana basketball players. Juwan Morgan, the great one, and Steve Risley, the idiot. So that's fine with me.
I don't think they care about basketball enough out there.
It's near the Ozarks. You kind of don't want to venture too far outside of the city limits there.
Right.
Be careful.
You get shot.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we need to cover? Anything else we need to talk about? We've talked about schedule. We got Michigan coming up. What's the keys to beating Michigan? What do you think we got to do to beat Michigan?
Can't start slow. Cannot start slow. There's no question about it. Can't start slow and can't turn the ball over. That team is fast. They have a lot of versatility. They have a lot of guys that can take the ball up the court and push a break. It's not like if they get a steal or a turnover, they have to find a guard and waste the time on the outlet. They can get it and go. And I think that if we can not turn the ball over and limit their easy buckets, because we also foul in transition just because it's a hard defensive position to be put in, backpedaling with a guy coming down at you full speed. Al had one foul like that last night, I can remember. It's just hard to not foul in transition. So I think that not turning the ball over will be a compounding effect of a bunch of things. Not fouling, not giving them easy buckets, getting good shots, attempts, giving them a chance to get offensive rebounds. I mean, it goes on and on, not turning the ball over.
And that's a very hard stadium to play in, too. I mean, I played there in Arbor. Everything's right down on the court. They put all the students right down on the floor on you. And while you think it doesn't bother, it's there. The noise is there. And the Michigan people are rabid. They're as good of fans as there are with football and basketball, both their programs. So that's not going to be an easy place to play. So, but I agree. We cannot get 10 points down on Michigan in the first 5 minutes of the ball game. It will just be too difficult to try and claw your way back. Although I'm kind of intrigued to see if we can do it. I mean, I hope we don't have to. I won't have to find out. I pray we don't have to find out. But I want to see. It's a mental test here. See how, if it does happen to us, is this team capable of doing it against pretty much anybody they play? We didn't do it against Duke, but this team is so much better than they were when they played against Duke. It's not funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Report card on Archie Miller halfway through the season. What do you think? You played with him for a year. Are you happy with him? I mean, is he the real deal for Indiana? I mean, is he putting the program on the right pace? Back to relevance, we say?
Yeah, 100%. I think he
What's
is.
his strength? What's the strength? I mean, you played for him. What's Archie Miller's strength?
I think Coach Miller's biggest strength is the fact that he's played at this level before. I think that's his biggest strength, and there's a lot of things that's a loaded answer because he knows guys' bodies, he knows how the game takes a toll. So he's smart about getting guys rest. He's smart about scheduling. He's smart about all that. And then, on top of that, I mean, he sees it from a point guard's perspective on the floor. He can see the plays that need to be made. He can see film a little bit differently because he's been in that position. He knows what's realistic and what's not. But I think at the end of the day, he's relatable to the guys because he has played the game. The guys trust him because they can't be like, oh, you can't even shoot. Coach Miller still fully believes that he can outshoot everybody on that team.
He played at North Carolina State, didn't he?
Yeah, he played at North Carolina State. His senior year,
that's an ACC school. They don't play basketball out there. Are you kidding me?
His senior year, he led the country in three-point field goal percentage.
Okay.
So, I mean,
that's great. No, I did not know that. So I'm not making fun of it. No, I'm just saying.
Right.
I was just making fun of them playing in the ACC. So.
Well, Duke whacked us, so I mean it's.
Yeah, they did whack us, didn't they? But like I said,
yeah.
The ACC does better than anybody in the country at buying good basketball teams. So
yeah, they do.
I'm okay with that too. That's what they got to do. All right, we'll wrap up here. I want to tell everybody. Let me ask you one more question here. Steve Alford, you got an opinion on what happened at UCLA?
As quite candidly, it might have been a long time coming. To be honest with you, I mean, they weren't the UCLA fans out there aren't patient, and quite candidly, they probably haven't got the results that they should have. So I'm not surprised.
No, I don't think anybody. I was surprised that they did it when they did it. I thought that he was probably gone at the end of the year for sure. If things are going to continue at the pace they do. Now, of course, they come in last night with Murray Bartow, and they destroy Stanford by 20-something points. And if you just rubbing salt in somebody's wounds, there you go. It's like, they lose to Liberty and Belmont, and then they get drilled at Cincinnati. They get drilled at Ohio State. 4 games in a row. Then they come back and they let him go, and they turn around and they beat Stanford by 20 points, and that's I feel bad for Steve, and and I live out here, and we don't change Christmas cards back and forth with each other, but we know each other, and it's a tough call. So, who's the next coach at UCLA? You have any inclination?
No clue. I have no clue. I'm
out here, so you're hearing all the reports, and they're saying Hoiberg is a big candidate and things like that. I think they should go with Pitino. He's a perfect fit for out here. This is Hollywood all the way.
You think
he is so Hollywood, and he's still a good basketball coach. And
yeah,
I know he's got baggage with him, but I think I said before they hired Alford that they should get Pitino out here. Why he was languishing in Lexington, Kentucky, or Louisville, Kentucky. I know he's big into horses and he does a lot of that. But I think Pitino would be a great fit for UCLA for a few years to rebuild that program. All right, let's wrap it up. Anything else you want to comment on? We got a big game Sunday. We're going to be on the air Sunday after the game, correct?
Yes, sir.
some point. You don't have. How'd you do in your? Everybody knows. How'd you do in your adult league game last night?
Got the dub. Started out slow, just like IU did. We started out slow. We were down at half. Then we decided to start playing and ended up winning pretty handedly. So,
how many did you put up?
Enough.
How many?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, you're right. You're one of those kids that don't keep score. But yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I really don't.
I'll call the field house. I'll call the field house and I'll get the score sheet. I know the guys that are on the field house. I'll call the score.
Not anymore. You know it's Best Choice Field House now, right? You know it's not. You know it's been changed, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was First Choice Field House now. Is that what it is?
Best Choice. Yeah.
Best Choice. Yeah. It's yeah. So I'll get your score. I'll find out how many you put up. They'll have the score sheet there. They keep those things. I know that. So we'll see how you did. See if you still got game, Hartman, or you just talk game now like me.
I don't have
game. I've been washed up for some 40 years, so, but that's okay. I can do that. Also, on note, we have, if you go to thegruelingtruth.net, you'll find that we have a program I'm pretty proud of that we're starting up. We're working in a partnership with the Indiana University Sports Media Department, where they actually have a school for sports media journalism. I don't know if that's the one Cuban's involved in or not. I know he's got some big building over there he paid money to put his name on. But we have an intern who's doing some fabulous work for us, doing pregame write-ups and postgame write-ups. And his name's Collin Hartman. And if you get a chance, anybody that's listening right now, and you want to just get a good review of the postgame, or you want to get a look at what the game looks like, the landscape looks like for the next coming game, go read his work. His work is really good. He's being mentored by his professor, who also owns his own website, sports website too, does a lot of IU broadcasting stuff on his own, Galen Calvino, and it's good work. And so if you don't want to listen to us banter, listen to me keep yakking, or Collin, keep making good insight into what we're doing. Yeah, well, I'm teaching you how to yak, sadly. That's what's happening here. So go there to our website, thegruelingtruth.net, and look it up. And we will be back on the air Sunday after the Michigan game, and we'll see if Indiana's ability and resiliency and slow start is for real, or if we're going to get up against a great team and we'll get ourselves in a hole, because I don't know if this team can get off to a quick start against Michigan. If they do, they could be in trouble. Other than that, anything else, Collin? You want to wrap it up? Anything you got to say?
No. Let's go Hoosiers.
Go Hoosiers, yeah. Definitely go Hoosiers. 3-0 in the Big Ten. When's the last time we did that? I can't remember the last time we were 3-0 in the Big Ten.
Probably been a while.
I don't know if I did it in my era. I don't even I did it in my era. We were 3-0 in the Big Ten.
I'll have to look back at my junior year. We were pretty good that year.
Yeah.
But we'll
until the tournament.
No, well, we were in the Sweet 16. Whatever. I played with a broken wrist. Get off my back.
Goodbye.
Bye.
That's it. We'll wrap the show up. Hang on. Let me finish the show out. Boom. Goodbye.